In today's small block budget build episode, we're going to put the oil pan back on. The first step in the process for us is going to be a bit unusual. We had one piston broken, so I had to order it, and we got to drop that in before we put the pan on. Make sure you install your piston the right way. On ours, this dot goes towards the front. Put a couple pieces of old hose over your connecting rod studs. That way you don't mar up any of the journals when you're putting it in. Don't forget to put some assembly lube on your connecting rod bearings. I looked it up, and for a 283, for oiled threads, which we have, 33 foot-pounds, according to the book. Now, if you're forgetful like me, one thing I would recommend is when you go back through and do the final torque, get a yellow paint pen, yellow marker, something that you can just throw a dot on each one that you've torqued. That way, if you have to take a break, you get called away for something, you know what you've done and what you haven't done. There's gonna be a few you can't get to, like this one. So we're gonna have to rotate the engine and get all the ones that we didn't mark with yellow. Another good reason to mark them up. Next step, not a have to, but definitely a recommend. Go back through and hit all your main caps again. Mark them with yellow paint, make sure they're at 65. All right, I found the oil pump bolt, so that's installed. If you think I should put a new oil pump on it, well, that's too bad because there's nothing wrong with this one. Fingers crossed. All right, everybody, we are ready to put the oil pan on this thing. I'm gonna put some rags on all this to protect it because now we gotta clean the oil pan. Hindsight being what it is, I should have done that before I started this. Clean rags, clean surfaces. This oil pan's not in terrible shape, so we're just gonna do wire cut brush, and then we'll worry about all the gook in the inside and clean. All right, only a good, 50, 60 years of gook in the bottom of this. Oh, looks like some nice solid sludge. Should be just fine. You know, in the 1990s, there was a cartoon show, sort of like weird apocalyptic pirates, but there was magic and stuff. It was called Dark Water. And this black material reminds me of that weird, oozy dark water that the show was named after. Hopefully this stuff doesn't drag me down into deep. Now, time for a wipeout. Unfortunately, I can't play the actual wipeout song due to copyright reasons. Sure, when oil gets to this state, it's completely non-carcinogenic. For all you wondering out there, it is at this exact moment that I realize I'm recording all of this in portrait, not landscape. We can't keep doing this in portrait. I'm gonna fix it. There, that's better. All right, let's get back to work. Now that we're back in landscape mode, can't believe I did that. It's really gonna hurt my chances for an Oscar this year. We are ready to put this oil pan on. 4 sides to an oil pan with 2 sides. There is a difference, I'll be darned. I'm gonna assume this is like an early and late model thing, but if you look, where the oil filter goes on, because we've got the old style canister oil filter, we can't use this. This is the later model style. It's got a spin-on filter, probably in a different location. This one is angled differently to avoid this canister. This is one case where I'm definitely gonna use RTV. The end of each of these seals, pretty heavy. Here, here, same thing on the other sides. Then just a light coat on either side of this cork gasket. That way everything sort of attaches nicely and doesn't leak, hopefully. Final check before we do anything here. All the holes are lined up, that's correct. This is tight, everything has been torqued. Everything there is good. It is time for the oil pan. There we go, come on now. Be good. Start grabbing bolts and putting them in. There's a couple bigger ones and they go on the corners. Okay. Like see the one, how this is a bigger head than this? Mm-hmm. Big heads go on the corner. Yep. Always put them in by hand first. Now they're all the same size. We've got all the corners in now, except one. Okay, never mind. We've got 3 out of 4 corners in now. There's one that's a different size. If you are watching this, thank you. Tell your friends. have your friends tell their friends. Hopefully their friends aren't just you. Hopefully they have other friends as well. I didn't put RTV between the gasket and the oil pan because I want to be able to take the oil pan off. So sealant between block and gasket, no sealant between oil pan and gasket. I'm gonna wire wheel this, but we're definitely not painting it tonight. It's too cold, I'm too tired, and I don't wanna. But I will get the cut brush out and we'll wire wheel it. Got it? All right, that's it. Do you wanna run the wire cut brush?
No.
No! Who doesn't wanna run the wire cut brush? What have I done? I don't believe that dent's factory. This is probably not the best for the RTV that's under it, but it'll be okay. And finally, the decooking brush to get all that loose stuff off there. Woo! Okay, campers, that's gonna do it for today. We've got this oil pan on there. It's looking pretty good. Yes, it was the 4-piece cork with the rubber ends. Again, this is a budget build. We're doing this as cheap as we can, as good as we can. Silicone between block and gasket, but not between gasket and pan. That way, if we need to pull the pan off, it's gonna be pretty easy. So that's gonna do it for today. I'm gonna get cleaned up and go to work. You guys take it easy, and I'll see you next time.